these wars, we need to unite. But they have always been there to divide us to be able to reign better. Slavery our ancestors experienced. Until today, we are fed up in our.
Those are our brothers, our sisters, our family. Ain't no reason why we should be out here hating this and hating them and all this because they brainwash us to make us believe that they don't like us and we don't like them. No, man. Them people ain't got nothing but love for us. That's why I'm representing.
No one tells them not to go to Europe, to their countries of origin. Therefore, no one will tell us not to come home to Burkina Faso.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from. Now, Ibrahim Traore and Africa have been calling out on the children of Africa to come back home. Now, they have been calling out the diaspora to come back and invest in the motherland. Do you think this is the time Africa should unite? Do you think this is the time that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were talking about? That time that the black community will unite and dismantle the Western systems. So let's watch this video and remember to share because it's a very informative speech and clip. Thank you so much.
I am moved and very happy to see you here in Burkina Faso since the events of the SNC. It is more than a pleasure that you have chosen to come here to Burkina. You have surely been told that it is a country frequentable. We told you that it's death here, it's war.
On vous a dit que c'est la mort ici, c'est la guerre. Il n'y a que du négatif.
There is only negative. We painted Burkina black here, only blood flows, weapons. This is what is said elsewhere. Thank God you arrived safely. You were able to be about the lasso, live with us our culture, what binds us Africans. You were able to communicate.
Être à propos du lasso, vivre avec nous notre culture, ce qui nous lie, nous Africains.
With many other nationalities who came to celebrate with us, everything went very well. You are of our standing, and I hope that you are very well received, very well lodged, and that you managed to communicate with your brothers here. It is one important message that you send to.
C'est un message important que vous envoyez à tout le monde.
Everyone, and nay, you will be the ambassadors of this message when you return home, that Burkina is very frequentable. We live in Burkina Faso. What they want to make you believe that is not the Burkina is what he draws to get people to flee Burkina, and they depict all of.
C'est ce qu'il dessine pour amener les gens à fuir le Burkina. Et c'est toute l'Afrique qu'il dépeint comme ça.
Africa like that for them. Africa is misery, Africa is famine, Africa is war, which is responsible for the flesh, but it continues. The grandfather was deported, torture, and still, when they had their war we supported him, they paid us in monkey money. Others were killed when they tried to claim. Several of them died in their village. With the after effects of the war, never recognized the work of the African, our mission. It is first of all to awaken Africa, and who better than you from the diaspora, to make people understand what Africa is. When I see you united in this association, I feel even more proud, because it is all we ask for. Today our fight is to be able to unite, because united we are strong. To divide we are weak. They have always worked to divide us. I urge you to spread the message, so that Africa can unite. We have been lucky or unlucky enough to live through war for several years, and at one point we had to say enough is enough. We are fed up.
Ils ont toujours travaillé à nous diviser. Je vous exhorte à passer le message pour que l'Afrique puisse s'unir.
We have taken our responsibilities, and we let us realize today more than ever that we were right to take our responsibilities. Because these armies were installed here, were never able at any time to monitor our territory, to see the terrorists who came to kill us, and
nous nous rendons compte aujourd'hui plus que jamais que nous avons eu raison de prendre nos responsabilités. Parce que ces armées étaient installées ici.
Leave with all the means they had. When we asked to leave today, we were able to acquire a good number of means which allows us to wage our war, and to ward off the threat, and to indicate, I would say, we were able to equip our forces and reconstitute our armies. They don't like that. Obviously, they will create other plans, but we are here and we will hold on thanks to you, who are far from them who support us.
Mais nous sommes là et nous tiendrons grâce à vous qui êtes loin et qui nous soutenez.
We will always stand because the African is resilience. We have suffered enough. The first thing you could do for Africa is to send the positive message. Enough looting, enough death. It is time that we unite and work. We only ask to live with dignity, to live.
Assez de morts. Il est temps qu'on s'unisse et qu'on travaille. Nous ne demandons qu'à
Free,
vivre.
pass the message to awaken consciences. Some leaders always try to put their people to sleep and continue to pierce their people for the benefit of the West. This must stop. Who better than you to convey this message to the different people? Africa must wake up.
Qui mieux que vous pour passer ce message aux différents peuples?
Young people must wake up and no longer allow the same policy continue. It is not possible. Africa is still virgin. Everything is business in Africa. Look at how our cities are. We can also develop our health and education systems. We can develop everything. So in this rich
Nous pouvons aussi développer nos systèmes de santé,
diaspora,
d'éducation.
we have all the specialties. Today in Burkina, we are thinking about set up one university polytechnic
Aujourd'hui au Burkina,
just to train scientific engineers, and I think you will be welcome to learn the second time, because as long as we do not
et je pense que vous serez les bienvenus pour
train the youth so that we ourselves can produce and transform here, on site we will always remain slaves.
Parce que tant que nous ne
Sovereignty
formons
is
pas
all
la
together.
jeunesse,
We are fighting for food self-sufficiency. Those who can invest in the agri-food industry to transform our products here, you are
souveraineté, c'est tout un ensemble. Nous sommes en train de nous
welcome,
battre pour
producing us everything here. Everything grows on our soils. We have experienced everything. After a year or so, everything grows in Burkina. Those who want to invest in agriculture are welcome. Those who want to invest in processing are welcome. Education, we want to
Tout pousse au Burkina. Ceux qui veulent investir dans
transform the
l'agriculture
school,
sont les bienvenus.
because the
Ceux qui veulent
formatting that we are
investir dans
currently
la
experiencing,
transformation sont les
it is from the school. They have channeled us, so that the intellectuals for the most part cannot think, get out of the furrows that they have a trace. Thank God the conscious ones are waking
de sorte que les intellectuels pour la plupart ne peuvent pas réfléchir, sortir des
up.
sillons qu'ils
We
ont
need
tracés.
more. We need to change the educational system. You are welcome. And there are many other paths. They were in plundering our wealth. Today we are regaining control. And we are never going to leave our wealth behind, because we want to live, we want to see our
Aujourd'hui, nous sommes en train de reprendre le contrôle.
children cared for, educated, grow up in peace and live in a healthy environment. So we are open. And you
President Traore, the reincarnation of Thomas Sankara, President Traore, who has led the struggle to complete the unfinished business that was started by our ancestors and our Pan-African leaders in 1963 when they created the Organization of African Unity. During that meeting, they demanded the creation of an Africa that spoke with one voice, an Africa that was united. That journey is yet to be finished. What is happening in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, is just the beginning of a revolution that is way past due for Africa. Africa must unite. And Burkina Faso has shown us the way. They have opened the doors. They have shown us that the bully can be defeated. That no more shall we continue to give up our lunch. That we too need to eat. And therefore, there is no negotiating with the bully. The bully had to go. and Burkina Faso showed us how to do it. So, Mr. President, I bring you your children, descendants of the formerly enslaved. They have waited over 400 years to return the spirits of their ancestors back home to Africa. When the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves, all they ever wanted to do was to come back home to Africa. Each and every one of them that you see, many of them are coming to Africa for the first time. They're bringing with them the spirits of their ancestors to put them to rest here in Burkina Faso. And that's mission number one. Mission number two, we have watched you, Mr. President. You stand for everything that we have hoped for in an African man. Courageous, fearless, and in their faces. France, unapologetically, you told France, pack your bags and go home. You, Mr. President, and the people of Burkina Faso have done it, and we have a responsibility to support you. You have over 300 million African diaspora who are looking up to you. We are here to show you that we are with you. We support you. We are behind you. And we will not let you down. Many of us were told, don't go to Burkina Faso. It's a war-torn country. Guns all over the street. Mr. President, we want you to know that the more they told us not to go to Burkina Faso, the more we ran to Burkina Faso. So mission number two is to let you, Mr. President, know that you and the citizens of Burkina Faso have done all the heavy lifting. The least we can do is to support you. So we are here. Our third mission is to see what can we do, Mr. President, to play our part in building the Burkina Faso we want.
Hello. I want to speak briefly about Burkina Faso and their president, Ibrahim Traore. As an African-American woman, I am so proud of President Traore and so happy for the people of Burkina Faso. I want to state for the record that African-Americans have nothing to do with any assassination attempts, any destabilization of the country, or any criticism of President Traore. I don't know any American, and I don't know every American, but I don't know any American that even knows who General Michael Langley is. I actually just found out who he was 2 days ago. But when you see black people being put in a position like that, and then turn on their heels to criticize another leader in another country, that is by design. And they do not speak for us. They are ruining the reputation of African Americans globally, making people think that we feel this way. We have our own problems in America.
And that's why I be at Dallas City Hall on the 30th. I'm talking about we about to have fun. We gonna turn it to a block party. Bring your bottles, have fun. Post up, let's take to the streets and let them know that we here to reclaim our throne. You ain't gotta give me reparations when we can come together and take them. Real talk, I'm on that type of timing. Yeah, it's really like that. And I'm really like that. Trust me, boy, the Tamarian God It's great. And thank you. I love y'all, Africa.
On some real shit, if something happens to Ibrahim Traore, we as a people have failed him. We already failed the South African lady who was out here saving all them kids and told everybody on the internet, listen, they gonna unalive me because I keep on saving these goddamn motherfucking kids. And what they do, they unalived her. They already unalived Gaddafi. They made it seem like that man was the worst man living. And right now, France and the US is trying to arrest that man. Why peace can never get a break? You know, that's what I'm realizing as I get older. Every single day I get older, peace can never get a break. Love and peace, those two things can just never get a fucking break in this realm we call life, or whatever this thing living. I don't know what it is. But peace and love are the two things that people just can't sit and just let it be. I don't know what it is. But all I'm saying is that if something happened to that man, us as a human race have to let go of the simple fact that these things are going to keep on happening to us, and we're never going to figure it out until we do figure it out. So all the he say, she say, us being loud and angry about what the society or the government is doing is literally absurd and very hypocritical for any of us to come together and say anything about anything, because we're seeing worldly great things happen and seeing the higher ups, the elites literally control these things and kill these people, unalive these people. And we go about it the next day as if nothing happens. Because us as a human race decide to not to revolt. So that's all I'm saying.
We're all very clear on why they're going after Ibrahim Traore and Burkina Faso. It's because Ibrahim Traore is going to give Africans free education. And because Ibrahim Traore is doing the right thing by his citizens and making sure that people there have a home. Ibrahim is looking out for the people of Burkina Faso, not himself. He is becoming extremely popular amongst the youth across the African diaspora. So it is no surprise to me that they are now trying to take this man out, because your accusations are definitely not working. And even the president of South Africa has stated they reject your allegations against Captain Ibrahim Traore. The bottom line is the French and America are being pushed out of these people's resources, which is only fair. The audacity of the West to think that they should have some rights to anything this president has in his country is crazy. Because if anyone were to come to America and stake claim over our resources, we would lose our shit.
We can either fight for our country or we can be slaves. Which one do we want to do? So y'all, I might have to do a series called Stand Up Sundays, because people are standing up against this horrible, horrible regime that's now taken over America. We know that the Klan party president that is in place right here in the United States.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. It's been a long time since we've talked about the children of Africa coming back home to the motherland. Now, many people have been trying to discuss, and many governments across Africa have been trying to put things in place. This includes implementing laws, land reforms, and all other things to make sure that the children of Africa are back home. Now, when I say the children of Africa, I mean those in the diaspora, those Black Americans, those Caribbeans, those in the UK, Canada, Germany that were taken from Africa and that were drove into slave trade, you know. They were taken there as slaves to go and work in the white farms, you know. Now, a lot has been happening in Africa and in the diaspora, but in the recent days, I'm very happy to share that I've been seeing very good progress with the African leadership trying maybe to emulate and bring unity in Africa. Now, this unity includes that which breaches the gap between Africans and the diaspora. Now, we've been seeing the diaspora following things that have been happening in Africa. And recently, when they wanted to interfere with Burkina Faso, we did see Black Americans, we did see Caribbeans, we did see Canadians, and every other walk of diasporians going and marching on the streets to say no to imperialism that was about to take place in Africa. That was by ending the junta regime that really exists in Burkina Faso. Now, these events have actually shocked the world because they never imagined that a divided Black community will one day come together and start sharing common ideologies on how they should come back and maybe bring the whole thing together and maybe have a united front of Africa. Now, brothers and sisters, Ibrahim Traore has been talking and has been calling the children of Africa back home. We've had Dr. Arikana Chiombori, who has also been calling the children of Africa home. Not only these leaders have been talking about the coming of the children of Africa back home, but they have also been discussing in investments that they can do in Africa to make sure that Africa is improving. And they have gone as ahead and said that it is not a must you have a lot of money to come back to Africa. It is not a must that you have millions of dollars. It's not a must. You can come in Africa and share the little skills that you have that can save this continent from imperialism, that can save this continent from colonialism, neocolonialism that is happening right at the moment. Now, African continent has been divided for the longest time, and it has been the wish of the Western powers to keep us divided because the division of the Black community really means a lot to the Western world, and that's why they want to try as much as they can to make Africa more divided and have so many countries in Africa that will actually bring a lot of chaos, and a lot of more divisions. They started by dividing Africans on the basis of their tribes, on the basis of their countries, on the basis of where they live, what language they speak. Now, we have the Anglophones, Francophones. All these things were not existing in Africa before. But after the colonial master stepped his foot in Africa, the damage started happening right from that time, And from that inception of the colonial mentality that was put in Africa, that's where we had the big problem now. We must actually be very brave on whatever and in whatever we do, talk, touch, Now, we must actually not share our ideologies with the Western countries because I've seen in most cases it has always not been them wanting the best for Africa. It has them who have been trying to get whatever is best to them from Africa. You must get the difference. It's not us getting the best from whatever is in Africa. It is them getting whatever is best from us to their side, from our mineral resources, from our technology. And they have actually enjoyed the man labor that we've brought around, the manpower, I mean. Now, all these things were not meant to benefit you who is watching this video is from Africa and those in the diaspora. It was meant to benefit the Western systems and to keep them in power so that they can have absolute power, which can be defined as anarchy because you have no right to question whatever they do. You have no right to say no to whatever they're trying maybe to impose to your people. When we have had people like Muammar Gaddafi saying no, when we've had great leaders like Thomas Sankara who said no, Now, see whatever happened to Pilo Lumumba of Patrice Lumumba of DRC Congo. Now, if you do not know the story of that young man, he was only 35 years old. And by that time, he was the prime minister of that country. Now, the day they were handing over power from Leopold, the king of the Belgium. Now, something funny happened. The king flew to DRC Congo, and he expected the likes of Patrice Lumumba to shower him with praises for giving them independence and sovereignty, and making them a republic. Now, instead, Pilo Lumumba wrote a speech right where he was seated when they were making their speeches, and he realized that most of the speeches that came out of the Belgian leaders was talking about how Africa should be grateful for having received independence or having been given independence and being made a republic by the so-called colonial masters. Now, this angered Patrice Lumumba, and he went and drafted a speech right at that ceremony. He didn't come with a speech, but due to how they were talking, now he was angered by the fact that they were lecturing Congolese on how much they have done to them, and he rose and said that I'm not okay you saying this, because the independence you're talking about, the republic you're talking about, we went and fought for it. You never gave it to us. A lot of our people have shed their blood on the streets. A lot of our people shed their bloods in the bushes, So this really angered them, and they started the propaganda, I do say the Western powers are the biggest propaganda machines you'll ever see, Now, they eliminated this person. And when they eliminated Patrice Lumumba, black people in Congo, what a sad day for them. They were actually celebrating. You can't imagine that. The level of brainwashing that has been done to Africans, it's very crazy. And I really appreciate sometimes when I see the diaspora coming out to expose the same Western systems that have caused a lot of atrocities to them, that have committed a lot of trouble to the diasporians, and they try and, open up the minds of the people in Africa who do not even, some of them do not even want to learn. Some of us in Africa have believed in the supremacy of the white systems, and we do not want to believe that in one way or the other we are great and we can make ourselves great. So this is just a call, and I love it when I see my brother Ibrahim Traore trying to share this. This is a call to all of us who are watching this video and who have been listening to the speeches from Burkina Faso, and who have been following the Pan-Africanists who are there to change Africa. Now, this is a wake-up call to all of you. You might want to share this video to your brothers and sisters. You don't need a lot to come to Africa. You don't need the whole world to come to Africa. All you need is a way to start life in Africa. The skills you have is very important. Now, there is another thing that you should know, the other part that we're not being told about Africa, that some places in Africa are super expensive because of the dominance of the Western people in Africa, and some cities are very expensive also. Now, if you go to the cities in South Africa, sometimes they might be expensive because the Boers, are there, and the whole thing. Yeah, and life is not that cheap compared to other places in Africa. I do not want to mention other places in Africa, but I think it is good for us as the people of Africa. Now, I'm glad also I'm learning that most African people, those who live in this continent, have started accepting the diaspora as their brothers and sisters. Now, we need to pump more civic education into our own generation, into our own populations, into our own masses, that These are our brothers and sisters. And the only way we should help the black community, the only way we can bring Africa together and help Ibrahim Traore and all those who are fighting for whatever is good for Africa, is bringing the children of Africa home by uniting and by making sure that we are fighting imperialism. The only way that we are going to unite, the only way we are going to help ourselves is by saying no to whatever is bad to our continent. A lot more things can be said, brothers and sisters, but if we are not willing to do whatever is right for our continent, no one else can do it for us. Do not actually be lied to that the United Nations is interested in Africa as much as you are interested in your own country. You know the problems of your own continent. You live in the continent that has suffered a lot in the hands of the Western systems, and you know the weaknesses of your own country, the weaknesses of your people. So you stand a chance to correct whatever is bad in Africa. And for the diasporans, Africa is a very good place. Leave alone whatever you've seen on TVs. This is the time you should come back home. This is a wake-up call for all of you that you are not going to be fully accepted somewhere else than your home, East, west, south, north, anywhere you go, home still remains the same, and home still remains to be the best place you can ever go to when things are not working out. Thank you so much for having taken your time to watch this video. Brothers and sisters, it has been a privilege sharing this message with you. Take it positively, and if you feel comfortable in the diaspora, it is okay. But this message was meant for those who are actually planning to come to Africa. Connect with a person in Africa and all shall be well. You can share this video as much as you can to your sisters and your brothers. Very informative. Thank you so much. May I see you in our next episode.